Hi guys! So today marks another momentous occasion in the build-up to the launch of the 2018 Hobonichi lineup, and that is updates to the new Hobonichi books. Last year at this time, when they came out with a similar announcement about the new 2017 lineup, I felt like there were a number of quite significant changes, and so I've been waiting with great anticipation for today's announcement. When it came this morning, I have to say that I was a little bit disappointed in that it seems to me that there's really only one dramatic change, but that is quite an impressive change in itself. And I guess the fact that there aren't many major changes maybe means that the Hobonichi is just so perfect and well balanced that there isn't really a lot of fine-tuning that they need to do. So let's have a look. The first change is quite minor. They've come out with a special edition of the English Planner, which has a little teddy bear on the front instead of the usual Arts and Sciences logo. It's a collaboration with a company called Steiff, which makes teddy bears, and that seems to be the only difference. You can see there's this little teddy bear here on the cover. So that is quite cute, but nothing earth-shattering. However, the second change is really dramatic. So, bam! The Cousins Weekly Diary now includes a 24-hour timeline. This is huge. So, a very observant fellow YouTuber called Time Turner Required, who I will link down below, I'll link her channel below, pointed this out last week. There was a sneak peek of this in the pictures of the cousin when they did the cover lineup pre-release, and I hadn't noticed it at all, and she pointed it out to me, so I actually knew about this. And probably those of you out there who were also observant like her noticed it as well, but I think this is a really, really huge change, and so I was curious to see more about it. So what they've done is, in previous years, the timeline in the weekly section of the Cousin started at 6 AM here, and then it went down until midnight, and then you had some blank space at the bottom for notes. But what they've done now is, you can see at the top it starts at 5 AM, and then the timeline runs all the way down, and instead of stopping around here at midnight, it goes until the very bottom of the page, until 4 AM. So you have a true 24-hour timeline. And I think that this is amazing. This is the answer to a lot of people's prayers and requests, because there's just nothing that you can't track now. If you track sleep, or if you work nights, or if you are a night owl like myself, it can be extremely useful to be able to track or log nighttime hours. Now, I don't have appointments in the middle of the night, but I am often awake, and so it is useful to be able to block off that time. And I was pretty satisfied with the Hobonichi beforehand going until midnight, because that's later than any other planner I know of. But I think that this is just perfect, because now there's nobody that it leaves out, basically. Whatever you want it for, or like I said, if you want it for sleep tracking, it's ideal. So I'm really excited about this change. I think it's an excellent, excellent change. And if you don't need those hours, it doesn't really matter, because you can just ignore them. So I'm used to using the space at the bottom of the page for notes, and I think I can still do that. So, you know, it's easy to write over the times, and they're not really that obtrusive. So I think that's a fantastic change, and I'm really excited about it. Now, the third change is another one that doesn't really seem that momentous to me. I wouldn't have even noticed it if they hadn't pointed out. And that is that in the original, the A6, in the monthly calendar, they switched the order of the month names between English and Japanese. So it used to be English was on the left and Japanese was on the right, and now it's the other way around. So that really means nothing to me. I don't mind either way. The next one, the fourth change, is kind of puzzling to me. The dates on the Cousins daily pages are more prominent now. So when I first looked at this, I couldn't see any difference, and I wasn't actually sure what they were trying to illustrate. I couldn't figure out if this was a comparison of last year and this year, or if it was two different pages from this year. So I finally checked in my own Cousin, and the one on the left is indeed from the 2017 Cousin, and they're comparing it to the 2018 Cousin. If I study it quite intently, I can maybe see that the date here is a little bit bolder, the line is a little bit thicker, but at least the way it's showing up in this photo, it's hardly noticeable. I don't think I would have ever noticed it if they hadn't pointed it out. Maybe it looks different in real life, I don't know, but as it is, it doesn't really seem that earth-shattering to me. Number 5, the serial number in the planner, that is the English A6 planner, has been redesigned. So I have never bought the English version of the Hobonichi because I don't like the layout. I like the colors that you get in the Japanese version, and the English one is just, for some reason, it's never appealed to me, so I've never bought it. So this is like kind of, like, to me personally, this is sort of irrelevant, but I have to say I like the old one better. I don't know why they changed it to this, because I think this one looks like a stamp and this one just sort of looks like a printed line of text, which doesn't look as cool to me. So I don't know, it seems from this that they've only done that with the English version, so I hope that is the case, because I'm quite fond of this one in the Japanese versions, the circular one. And then there are a few changes that have to do with the informational pages at the back of the planner. So this again is like not that interesting to me because I usually ignore those pages anyway. So in the original The Cousin and the Weeks, they've added a list of favorite local Japanese foods, which is, I think, of limited use if you don't speak Japanese. If you do speak Japanese or you're learning Japanese, then it's good practice. And then they've added some stretching exercises. And this one is one that I really like. I think this is a cool one. I'm excited about this because I'm a linguist. So, chatting with people around the world, use this 6-language phrasebook to interact with people when meeting. This is also for the original The Cousin and the Weeks. So, they have this little phrasebook that has Japanese at the top, and then it has English, German, French, Spanish, Chinese, and Korean. So I think that's really cool. I'm definitely going to be using that. And then this one is another one that's puzzling to me. I don't understand why they put this in here. So it's got the My 100 list, and it says it's in the original The Cousin and the Weeks. But this was there in the 2017 version, so I can't figure out what's different about it. It's definitely in the original and The Cousin for 2017. Maybe it wasn't in the Weeks. I haven't got my weeks right with me, so I thought that it was, but they haven't specified. They've just said it's there, as if it wasn't there before, but it was there. So I'm confused about that. I can't tell what's different, and it looks the same to me as it did last year. Maybe the design is slightly different, but I can't figure out what's new about this. And then in the original The Cousin and the Weeks, they have redesigned the graph paper at the back. So they've added more space for notes at the bottom, which again, like, doesn't seem like a huge change to me. I occasionally use this in my cousin. This year I used it for keeping track of students' marks, but I don't think that this change would make much difference to me anyway. And then you get some changes in the back pages of the English planner, which look interesting because I can understand these, unlike the Japanese ones. So highlights of the calendar year in Japan, I think that looks really interesting. And then highlights, let's see, chronology of Japanese history, which also looks interesting and has some nice illustrations. And Japanese folk tales, which I think is really nice. So those back pages actually almost make me want to buy the English planner because they just look like they would be fun to read and it would be interesting to have them. And that's it. The only other announcement is that the Sunday Start original will be for sale in loft stores in Japan, which is not at all useful if you live outside of Japan, but I guess if you live in Japan, that would be good news. So that's it. Those are the changes. So like I said, I feel like the only change that is really groundbreaking and exciting from my perspective is the introduction of the 24-hour timetable in the Cousin, but I think that's huge and I'm really, really excited about that. So I think, like, definitely it's, you know, it's worth it just for that. I was secretly hoping for a couple of other things that they haven't done. I was kind of hoping that they would decide to take out the two-page spread of quotes in the weeks, because they introduced that last year and it took away the space for writing notes at the bottom of the left-hand side of the weeks, which I had used and found really helpful. So I didn't like that change, so I was kind of hoping that they'd change that back, but obviously that wasn't an issue for many people, or not enough for them to change it back again. And then my secret greatest desire for the Hobonichi, apart from a B6 size, which would obviously be amazing, my other secret desire is for them to put a weekly spread into the A6 version, because I think that that would make the A6 version much more versatile and would make me consider switching to it as my work planner, whereas at the moment, like, I just can't function without the weekly spread and, you know, the hourly weekly spread. So I think that that would be really, really cool, and I've been waiting for them to do that for a few years, in fact, but I don't know what the deal is. Nobody else seems to want it, or at least not enough people seem to want it for them to have introduced it. I know you can get the separate booklet, but I would just like to have it all in one book. So that was my secret hope, but my hope has been dashed. However, I'm extremely pleased about this 24-hour timeline, so I'm, you know, definitely satisfied with that change, and I think that's enough to make the whole thing worthwhile, even if they haven't introduced any other major changes, because Hobonichis are so great to begin with that it's not like we really want them to completely change it. So that is that for today. I'm really curious about what this announcement that they're going to reveal next week is about a new life book in development. So I'm sure that we will all be staying tuned to see what that is. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be back again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!